If we cut ourselves off from the roots, the heritage of the great Christian tradition, we may still flourish for a short period, but ultimately we wither and die.
Let's go on to the authority of the church. That's one of the things that you list as a tenet of theological liberalism.
Well, so again, if you're liberalism, even the word liberalism, when it was first began to be used, it was the impulse to be liberated from the traditional authorities. And those were traditionally, again, the bishop, the leader of the church, Christian heritage, Christian tradition, and scripture. And so liberalism started not as a movement towards something, but a movement away from something, a movement away from the traditional authorities of Christianity. Progressivism is sort of the latest rendition of that, and it's an effort not just to move away from these traditions, but instead to move towards something, a vision of utopia, which you describe well in your book. So in order for liberalism or progressivism to work, it really does have to be disconnected from Christian tradition, Christian history. And it's a sad thing because Christianity built the Western world. So many of the things that we value, they came to us through years and years and years of Christian thought and Christian service and Christian labor, Christian values and principles. I mean, everything from just war theory to the hospitals, to the building of the universities, public education, the ideas of public welfare. All of these things come to us filtered through a Christian worldview. And that's just the positive. That doesn't include the negative, the ending of abortion, the gladiatorial games, the abuse of women. So many of these things came to us. They weren't inevitable. They were not inevitable. The world could have gone a different direction. They came to us through the great masters of the Christian faith. And so when we disconnect ourselves from those great masters, you heard an illustration not too long ago. It's the same thing as cutting off the roots of flowers. If you cut off the roots of flowers, they'll stay attractive for another week or so, but eventually they wither and die. If we cut ourselves off from the roots, the heritage of the great Christian tradition, we may still flourish for a short period, but ultimately we wither and die. And that's true civilizationally. The whole civilization will. We're seeing it around us right now.
I'm curious to know if you saw this in your education at Vanderbilt, the same thing I see today in this current iteration of progressive Christianity, and that's that they do deny essentially the roots of our faith in so many ways, but then in some kind of a clever twist, they'll appeal to some medieval mystic or maybe even an early church father who they can sort of bend to agree with something they're saying now. Did you find a bit of that when you were getting your education, basically through the lens of theological liberalism?
Yeah, Origen is their favorite.
Origen, I know. He's like their guy.
He was a 3rd century church father. He was eventually declared a heretic by the church, but he appeared to have been a universalist. We actually don't have his original writing on the subject, but we have some copies of it. We have some translations of it, and it appears that Origen argued a universalist position, which is why the church excommunicated him at some point. He had some other quirky views, but so you can find in the great stream of Christian tradition, you can find all sorts of nutty views out there. And if I have to find a nutty view in order to defend what I want to believe, then it's obvious I'm up to something. So we want to be careful not to appeal to the fruits and the nuts of our heritage. There really is a great stream of Christianity. It's broad, it's powerful, it's historic, it doesn't change. And that's the stream I want to plug into. That's the heritage, that's the Zion I want to be around.
Yeah.